So this evening I am at the emergency vet and I'm picking up this little cutie. Well, she's looking out the other windows. So I was gifted a lily, and if anyone knows anything about cats, it's that lilies are poisonous and pretty swiftly will kill your cat through their kidneys shutting down. So this little ding dong likes to eat things, and before I got the flower up and out of like where she doesn't have access to, she was chomping on it. So why do I tell you this story? Part of the reason I'm telling you this story is because ironically a client of mine and I were talking, and she is someone who I've worked with through more than one coaching program, because she was able to really work with some of her emotional blocks that allowed her then to utilize these tools more easily. And I'm actually going to see if she will be willing to let me have her tell her story. And so I'm not going to. So if you have a cat, this is an educational video on that as well. Lilies will kill your cat very quickly. So anyhow, I called the vet and they said, yes, bring her in. This is the Easter long weekend. I was on my way to a dinner with my family. So internally, I wanted to freak out a little because I know it was evening and it was a long weekend, which means no regular vets available. Veterinary specialists and emergency. I don't know if you can see that. Emergency vet. Emergency vets are more expensive than regular vets. So then the part of me that was like, oh my gosh, how much money is this going to cost? That part started to freak out. But I know that absolutely everything in your reality is rearrangeable when you can resolve the energy. If you can learn to work with your energy because you interface through your body with this universe, we're swimming in possibility, and you are interfacing through your frequency, your vibration. The assumptions you're making are essentially what they're either establishing your frequency or they are reflective of your frequency. So anyway, so I knew that circumstance means it's going to be expensive. And so I'm going to tell this story for a couple of reasons. One, because so I got her in there and they gave me the doom and gloom prognosis. They gave me the estimate. And so the first thing that popped up was, oh no, like statistically, this can be 90% fatality. So that part of my brain, like, alert, turned on. So I had to do what I do to ground into my own energy, release all of that and drop into the assumption, no, she'll be fine. So they managed to get everything to work the way they wanted to. They checked her kidney values and they were very good. Even though they weren't sure how much of the toxin had moved through her system because I saw after the fact, she munched a couple leaves, obviously when my back was turned. This cat likes to eat things. And so anyway, so there was no confirmation of how long it had been. Really, it was sort of within a window of time. So there was a lot of unknowns. Unknowns are your friend, because your mental structures can't, unless you allow them to, start creating these are the only things that can happen. So that was in my favor. And so again, I dropped into the assumption that everything was fine. Like I said, I worked with the energy. I have used remote healing in more than one time in my life, and in fact have taught it to a few clients. And so I will see, like I said, if she will be willing to tell that story herself. But anyway, so I used those tools with this circumstance, and I just kept my energy very expansive, neutral space, like I talk about, neutral space. And so then also there was the issue of the bill. So they told me how much money, and initially the version of me that has not always lived in abundance popped up and wanted to freak out. So I had the money, but that version of me did not want to part with the money. So I realized, oh, this is this part of me that's coming up. And I used this as an opportunity to acknowledge this part of me was there, accept that it's there, and also recognize. But then also I recognized, wait, I also could take the position, because this is the identity that I now come from. I have the money. I'm grateful for this bill because it means I have the money to pay for it. I'm grateful for this bill because energy is an exchange. When you clutch your money, you stop the flow, incoming and outgoing. And so I decided that I'm grateful for this bill. And when they told me how much it was, although there was a part of me that wanted to clench up and find a way around it, not only did I say, yeah, no problem, I paid in advance. They said potentially it could be a lot cheaper because they could let her out early, and they just wanted to check her kidneys over the course of 48 hours. But ideally, if she did well, they would be willing to let her go at 24. And so obviously, overnight at an emergency vet isn't cheap. And so that would make the bill less. So I just decided her kidney values are fine. And that if I wanted to take her home after 24 hours, I could. And sure enough, first exam, kidney values were good. So they said they wanted to wait and see. Second exam, kidney values were good. She was still a little nauseous and showing some of the other symptoms of basically toxemia from lily poisoning. But essentially, her kidney values were good, and that is the primary concern. So then when they called me 24 hours later and said, okay, we've done the exam, it's not our usual, it's not usually what we would do. We usually like to hold animals like 48 hours so that they can stay on the IV. We can make sure that as much toxin is flushed out of their body, but we could, in theory, let her go home. And that will really reduce some of the cost. And because I am grateful for this bill, because it means I have the money to pay it, it means money out means money in, I told them no, keep her. But I also decided that this bill is still going to be less than the estimate. So I just picked up my little ding dong. Kidney values checked 48 hours later, still great. And they're reimbursing me money. So anyway, I just thought I would share that story. And I think my client probably would be willing to let me have her share this, have her share her own success story with working with energy in this way, because you can absolutely rearrange your reality when you can become neutral and just choose as you go. The internal reactions you have, this takes practice, and this shouldn't be done through repression or suppression. Just that's the caveat. This takes practice, and it's absolutely possible to rearrange your reality, because this is the strategy that I use for everything. And if I can't get to neutral space, then I know that I have something subconsciously that I need to work through. And that's it. That's the only time I will do shadow work or energy work or blah, blah. Well, I guess not really. I'll do energy work to work with my external environment, but I have to have first worked with my own internal environment. Anyway, I just wanted to pop in, drop this impromptu video to share this success story, because I know that if I let it sit in my brain and knock around in there for a while, it's just not going to happen. Anyway, so until next time, live like you can't fail.